Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, California Weather Watch. Today is February 18th, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop here. You can see Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaiian Islands out here. Check out that cutoff low just as promised, not bringing any precipitation to the state of California here. Just kind of a tease moving down the coastline there. It'll eventually kick off to the east, maybe a tiny bit of precipitation into Southern California with that one there. But you can see this ridge of high pressure dominating the Pacific Ocean here. It's going to back up a little bit, and we're going to get some cold Arctic air across Pacific Northwest. It's going to drive all the way down across into California too. A little 1-2 punch as we go on in through mid and later next week. We'll see what we can expect here with that shortly. And on through the extended, we'll take a brief look at that as well. So it looks like we probably are going to remain active on in through early March here with the potential for a little bit of wetter systems as we go on into the extended forecast. Looking out towards the Hawaiian Islands, you can see that old Kona low out there that brought some precipitation, some heavy precipitation out there for the Hawaiian Islands. Caused some pretty, extreme turbulence out there. I shouldn't say extreme, but it did cause some severe turbulence out there, flying back and forth to the Hawaiian Islands with that system just kind of roaming around out there, known as a Kona low. Now, looking at this is a great graphic here from the National Weather Service Sacramento here, storm climatology. It shows the origination of these storm systems here, warm systems, of course, out of the cross Pacific Ocean, more moisture to work with out there, warmer temperatures, warm air holds water better, and you can bring that warm air into the region there. And this is typically where atmospheric rivers develop here and move into the state here. Area 2, you still have decent fetch of moisture here, but it's a much colder area here, and so you're not bringing in as much moisture as Area 3. Area 1, you're mostly over land here, so you're not really tapping a lot of moisture here, and that's kind of where this next 1-2 punch through next week is coming from. This northerly flow here is not going to be able to access a lot of precipitation, even though it will bring some nice mountain snows with that cold air aloft. It's not a huge precipitation maker. So great graphic here from the National Weather Service Sacramento. I like to see them put out stuff like that. Now, this is the active weather possible next week. The Bay Area, talking about widespread rain, and the winds are going to be of note too. There's going to be some gusts for the Bay Area, probably up over 50 miles per hour. So we'll continue to watch that day by day, but it looks like strong winds are incoming for a lot of the state here, especially across the coastal regions and some of the higher terrain. Now, this is for San Diego down there, 1-2 punch coming down there. Some decent precipitation amounts all the way through Southern California, and some snowfall for the higher terrain as well as gusty winds, of course. And this is the I-5 snow forecast here. The Grapevine, probably going to pick up a little bit of snowfall here, and this is going to start really on in through the day, Wednesday through Friday coming up here. So nice graphic there. Now, this is projected precipitation here as well. Hanford, California National Weather Service's Grapevine here. Tuesday night through Wednesday night might pick up a little bit of snowfall there as well. And the snows are starting across the Sierras by this point as you go on in through Wednesday, shown there. Water equivalent here, map on the left. Now, this is projected precipitation through Friday. You can see additional snowfall for the Sierra Nevada here. The Grapevine, 3 to 4 inches. Watch out, traveling across some of those higher passes out there, all the way down into Southern California even. Now, taking a look here, this is 850 millibar temperatures, temperature anomaly in the streamline of the winds here at 5,000 feet. So you can see that ridge just dominating the Pacific Ocean here, but you'll see this cold air kind of push it back a little bit there and really launch itself down the west coast here. And like we saw in that graphic from the National Weather Service Spokane, the storm origination is out of the north there. It does not have a lot of moisture to work with. You need it to come over the ocean a little bit more and develop a little bit better cyclogenesis here to bring some precipitation into the region here. But it's going to bring some decent snowfall amounts. We'll take a look at those here in a moment as well. But you can see as we go on in through next week, pretty chilly temperatures aloft. And then looks like we're going to remain active through the extended as well, as you can continue to see cold air pour out across the Gulf of Alaska and Pacific Ocean here in the 10-day time frame as well. More on that, of course, in the following days. This is looking at a 500 millibar temperature. You can see that cutoff low out over the Pacific Ocean here. That just kind of meanders and moves off to the east there. Then we get a bit of a break here as we go on in through early this week. But then you see Tuesday, this next cold polar lobe arrive down the state here. Look at this chilly air aloft. And again, not much moisture to work with, but very cold air aloft here too. And it's going to be running into the mountains and creating some pretty good snowfall amounts. And then you can see that polar lobe kind of finish up with another shot as we go on in through Thursday and Friday shown there. And I should show the end of that as well. As you can see towards the end, we see kind of that polar lobe out here, maybe a little bit of a warmer system coming in here through the extended as we look like we're going to remain active. More on that, of course, in the following days. Now, taking a look here, this is mean sea level pressure plus low locations. This is European Ensemble members here. So this is kind of showing you where the low pressure systems are forming in the ensemble runs here. And you can see the troughing over the west coast of North America here as the Arctic air pushes down into the Pacific Northwest here. And you can kind of see these low pressures, not exceptionally strong there, but they will bring some precipitation to the region there. But it's not the big, deep, rich moisture that comes out of the southwest here across Pacific that brings our really huge atmospheric rivers into the state. And then as we go on through the extended, you can see the Pacific kind of remains active, but a bit of a pattern change here as the low pressure systems start to move out over the Gulf of Alaska here and off the west coast of North America there, potentially keeping us active on in through the 10-day period shown there. So hopefully that continues here and we can continue to fill these reservoirs and build up the mountain snowpack as we go on in through later February into early March. Now this is looking at last night's European run. There's that cutoff low. There's California here. You can see it just meander, push off to the east, maybe a tiny bit of light rain for Southern California. But then you'll see the next system start to arrive out of the north and northwest here. Good mountain snows coming down across the area there. But you don't see those huge gaudy precipitation amounts here as we go on in through later this week. But you do see the good mountain snows. And then as we go on through the extended potential for some more systems here moving down towards the state of California as we go through the extended forecast in later February. Now this is again at 500 millibar height and wind speeds here. Now you can see that cutoff low off the coastline there. Bit of a break here, and then watch the next polar lobe arrive here as we go on in through Tuesday, shown there. You notice it's got a little bit of overwater trajectory there, but not too much, and it kind of hangs right down the coastline there, but you can see some pretty cold air aloft coming for the state of California there, so it is going to get chilly as we go on in through later next week coming up here. Now taking a look here, total precipitation in inches, the ensemble mean here. So this is the average of all 50 European ensemble members here. And we're just going to push this thing out through the 10-day period here at least. So there's 240 hours here. And you can see decent amounts, mainly for the higher terrain here. But then as you go through the extended forecast, looks like we might remain a little bit more active where we bring better precipitation values in through early March down through some of the lower elevations as well. But again, a lot of time to look at that. Now looking at the European ensemble control for 10-to-1 snow ratio, this is what's coming up here. You can see some big snowfall across the Sierra Nevada here, all the way down through Southern California into Mexico there as well. And then as you go on through the extended, we have the potential to remain active, as I've been saying. Now, this is looking at Los Angeles International Airport, and you can clearly see the cold air arrival here on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday here. Some highs maybe not getting out of the 40s here as you go on in towards later this week coming up here, and some pretty chilly overnight lows. I don't think you're going to get down to 33 there, but you're going to feel it there in the overnight, early morning hours. San Francisco, you can see why I've been cautioning you not to pay too much attention to any of those snow maps you might see across the Bay Area out there. You can see the ensembles are now correcting this and starting to take this away. It's very difficult to get any kind of lowland snow into the Bay Area, and this is just kind of not going to happen really. Just highly unlikely at this point. And this is Lake Tahoe. You can see the first round of snow here and then potential for more as you go on in through late February or early March there. San Diego, this is looking at the winds. The winds are going to be something to deal with here too as this system moves down. Here we go into Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. Some pretty gusty winds showing up there. The ensemble mean around 40. Some of the members well up into the mid 40s there as well. Los Angeles, kind of a similar picture, maybe a little bit less wind here, but you can see some gusts up over 40 miles per hour are possible. Now look at San Francisco, the ensemble mean well up into the lower 50s here as you go on into Tuesday afternoon and evening shown here. Some of the ensembles are even up towards 60 miles per hour here. So some pretty strong winds with the arrival of this cold air all the way down through the Bay Area coming up here. We'll look at this more in the upcoming days here and try to pinpoint some of these speeds, see if they trend up or down. This is looking at Los Angeles, kind of the 1-2 shot of some precipitation potential coming up here through the end of February there. Nothing too crazy right now. This is looking at San Francisco. You can see not a lot of precip with this initial arrival here showing up there. Again, kind of a moisture starved system for the lower elevations, but the potential to remain active through the extended. The winds are probably going to be the biggest thing here, and the lower elevation snowfall here across some of the higher terrain across the Bay Area, probably going to be the biggest weather stories. This is San Diego. Not bad here, actually going up to the end of this week here with some precipitation values up towards an inch shown there, and maybe another bump towards the end of the month there. Now looking at total swell height and direction here, you'll clearly see, we're going to pick up the wave activity shown here. Comes that Arctic air moving down the coastline here, and you can really see the wave activity pick up as we go on in through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. So just have a heads up for that. We're going to start to bring those sneaker waves and maybe some beach erosion and the big waves out there. Don't turn your back on the ocean. You know how it goes on in through next week. So this is also kind of showing the National Weather Service Los Angeles picking up on that increase for the wave action across the coastline there as well. So pay attention to them if you need extreme detail on what's coming for the immediate coastline. This is 6 to 10 day temperature outlook here. You see the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast generally below average much of the state of California here through February 27th. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. A little bit better for Southern California because this time of year they get less versus Northern California and the Pacific Northwest. So any precipitation that falls is going to leave that above average signal down for Southern California. 8 to 14 day goes all the way through March 3rd here. This is temperature, precipitation here, still kind of bullseye in portions of California. So it looks like we're going to remain active through early March, and risk of hazardous temperatures mainly for the higher terrain across California, really. But it is going to get pretty chilly across some of the valley areas too, and the lower elevations of Northern California also. And you're really going to feel that cold air all the way through Southern California there too, but it shouldn't be dangerous cold. Risk of heavy precipitation, again, I sound like a broken record here, but we might remain active on in through early March. And the risk of heavy snow includes the Intermountain West and some of the Sierra Nevada here up through the Cascades also. And the risk of high winds with any of those systems exists as well. So anyway, we'll keep watching these storms coming in here. I enjoy doing California when things start to get active here, and we'll just watch this come in day by day. And leave me some comments below. The community down here seems generally positive. I read all the comments. I don't get to reply to all of them. There's a lot of comments coming in there. But tell your friends, click like and subscribe, and we'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.